Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show. Good evening. It'll probably be landing at a godly hour, really, really late, but that's what happens on a midweek game. Plus, I've had some issues with my Wi-Fi jumping off the watch along to do this, so my apologies, probably out later than normal. But when you do get to catch it, I hope you enjoy it. Please do like the video. You can tell I'm tired. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. We are here to discuss Leeds 1, Everton 1. So let's get into it.
I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck. I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Yes, so folks, a really frustrating night for me. As a fan, I thought the game was not, didn't go to plan. I thought, I was quite perplexed when I seen Frank Lampard's lineup. When he went with the back 4, you could see the Cody. Does he do well in a back 4? Why hasn't he gone with the wing backs and the wingers doubling up on our full backs, for example? But he went for a back 4 and he basically packed out the midfield. Basically, that's what he did. And in that first half, we struggled to create anything of real note. I think there was the Rodrigo chance, which was crossed in by Harrison, that he just missed. Good delivery. There's a lot being said about Harrison online, but I think he needs to stay on the pitch all the time. He's someone who looks like he could create something out of nothing, a little bit like Sini. He's just come on leaps and bounds for me as Jack Harrison. I'm such a fan of him right now. I think my favourite player tonight, though, has to be Mark Rocker. Sort of sometimes goes under the radar, but he really put himself about, especially in that second half, and we got 90 minutes out of him, which was great to see. Listen, I talked about it loads on the watch along. I wasn't in the best of moods anyway, due to what the politician Angus Kinnear was spouting, but that's for another day. But it's just frustrating. We've got 2 international ready number 9s by all accounts, and one of them is so unfit. Obviously, we've seen him today, and do you know what? For those that say we don't need a striker, watch Bamford when he came on late on in that game. That profile of striker, what he can do. He was great when he came on, and he was able to bring others into play. He was chesting it down. He was winning headers. He was bringing the ball down with his feet and bringing others in. We lack that focal point. Rodrigo's not here. As much as he's had a good start to the season, he looks like he's going to have a long layoff anyway. Shoulder dislocated. It looked like he was crying at one point. He was on gas and air. My mum was going to have a baby. But yeah, he's going to be out for a while now. Gutted. Joffrey came on. He had a chance. Great save by Pickford. But again, we lack something. We can't rely on Bamford. So Angus Kinnear, stop coming out chatting bubbles in programmes, telling us, oh, you're not going to... No, I'm not having it. I said my piece earlier on anyway on the watch along. Go get a striker. Go get a fecking striker. It's as simple as pie. Do you know what as well? Like, I've come to terms with it, but for me, Llorente's at fault for the goal. He somehow managed to meg himself. Like, I thought Llorente was poor against Brighton. He was even worse tonight for me. Even worse. I am scared when the ball goes back to him. He frightens me. Now, there are times when he'll play a delicious pass or he'll do something really well, but he's a ticking time bomb for me. And the reason I bring it up next to the Angus comments as well is the fact that our best left centre-back, okay, you could argue Cooper, but he's in the Bamford category. He can't be relied upon, is Pascal Struijk. Pascal Struijk's playing at left-back. Why is he playing at left-back? Because we haven't bought a fecking left-back. Who's that on? The board. They're trying to tell me that, on us as fans, that, oh, we're not going to run the risk, and give over, man. Give over. And I don't want to hear Rizdale era or Leary, all that BS. It's a totally different kettle of fish. You had 40 million there for CDK. You wanted that because you know you could make money on him in a couple of seasons' time. Instead of then looking at that and saying, right, well, we've got 40 million. We could afford to do it. Let's go out and buy a striker. Let's go out and buy a left back. We'll improve our position in the table and be a much stronger outfit. It's just pure facts, but they don't want to do it. They want to spin us a yarn. It's the same rhetoric we heard under Bielsa. Exactly the same, just packaged in a different present and fed to you. And people lap it up. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I'm actually frustrated. And had we have lost that game tonight, it would have just been even worse. Like, how funny is it that he's talking about international number 9s and then one of them's got injured, one of them's half dead, and young Joffrey, yes, is an exciting prospect, but is that a prospect not to be starting? Don't want to hear no Joseph, Perkins, Greenwood. Greenwood's not a striker. Perkins, Joseph, stay away from the first team. Long way off yet. Go out and buy a striker. If now we don't get a striker, then listen, that mental. Like I say, back to the game. Look, it's back to the game. It's a good finish by Gordon and by Claire Balding. It is good finish by Nicola Sturgeon. Good player. Whether or not he's worth what he's going to go to Chelsea for, I don't know. Everton need to keep him though, that's for sure. I think he gave Rasmus a bit of a torrid time. Rasmus continues to not be great. I'd love Luke Ayling back in the side. There also seems to me a little bit of a reluctance to pass to Rasmus when he's in attacking areas, especially later on. Noticed it. They miss him out. I don't know whether that's they see a lot in training and expect him to balloon across or whatever, but it's a massive step up from the Austrian League to the Premier League, and he's feeling it right now. I hope he does come good, but if Ayling was fit, I'd be playing him. Says a lot about Cody Drama that he's not getting a look in at all. I think he goes out on loan as long as Ayling's fit. Look, Leeds United shouldn't be... Look, I guess the thing is, historically, over the last few seasons, we struggle against Everton. I said in the preview, they'll score in the first, we'll get a goal in the second. I believe we would win the game. Obviously, it wasn't our day. It's frustrating, but as long as we haven't lost the game, I'm happy with the points total after how many games we've played. But it shows you how quick things can change in football. Like, we beat Chelsea 3-0, everything's amazing, and then we lose to Brighton and get a point against Everton, and all of a sudden it's like we've now got no fully fit strikers. So that's how quick it changes. So let's not be negligent and let's not address that issue, for me, because we need to do it. I'd argue we need a left back as well, but I've come to terms with that fact. But listen, the first half was minging. I thought we started well. Like I say, when they got that goal, sucker punch, Anthony Gordon, decent finish. But again, Llorente was at fault for me. He somehow managed to meg himself. But listen, they had a strong defensive unit packing in. You can see now why you went with a 4 and a 4, 2 banks of 4 in a sense. 4 and then 3 and 3. It was just like everyone behind the ball in them central areas, which meant Leeds United couldn't create anything. We kept having to go out wide, and then obviously I thought Patterson did well. I thought Harrison was better than McNeil, of course, and I think he beat him a few times, but I thought Patterson really, really did well. Been impressed with his start to the season, to be fair. He's someone I have in the back of the mind for the Fantasy League because he's nice and cheap. Keeping Coleman out of the side as well. But Everton were happy they were spoiling tonight. They started, Pickford, Gordon, Mikalenko, whenever the ball was free, they were just booting it. Referee should have got his cards out earlier, but listen, it is what it is. I don't think he was strong tonight. He could have been stronger. And listen, it was all on Leeds United. It was all on Leeds United in that second half to create something. And listen, Sinisterra deserved his start. Listen, people think I've got an agenda against Dan James, but that's what that gives you. When Dan James came on, he did nothing. He did nothing. He does nothing. I'm sorry. Sinisterra, Harrison, Aronson, Bamford impacted the game in the short space of time he came on. I'd love Bamford to be fit. I love him. But he's just not going to be fit. So we need to get, by all accounts, Shea absolutely tortured Koulibaly and Thiago Silva tonight. He was trending on social media for doing as such, and Southampton beat Chelsea. Yes, he didn't score, because a lot of people say he doesn't score enough, but they've won that game and he's tortured their 2 centre-backs. Chelsea ain't all that by all accounts looking at it, are they? Maybe that 3-0 win isn't that good. I'm only joking, of course, it's a great win. But listen, Sinisterra deserved his start. Was dangerous throughout. That little bit of skill he did in order to get a chance. Well, it was a half chance. Harrison couldn't get it out of his feet and therefore get it to Jack, who probably would have finished. Jack had a chance late on. But it was a tame effort. But back to Sinisterra, he just gave Pickford the eyes, absolutely schooled him. I think it went past Tarkovsky, and yeah, it was a decent finish. And listen, it'd have been really, really bad had we have lost the game. The fact we've got a point, we move. We've got Brentford up next, down at their place. Very difficult game. Very, very difficult game. They've got some top players and are a top side, and they don't seem to be suffering from no second season syndrome. Fair play to them. Pickford, again, he always seems to have barnstormers. He made a great save from Joe Gelhardt. Superb stop from inside the box. I did think Gelhardt was going to score. He always comes up clutch, wasn't to be. Rasmus, to be fair to him, I know he gets a lot of stick. And rightly so at times. Like I say, I think even the players, there's a reluctance to pass to him when he's in forward areas. But he made a sort of goal-saving header. I don't know how much you know about it, but there was a chance for an Anna on 80th minute and it hit his head. You know what I mean? So he's right place, right time. There's a little chat to be had about set pieces as well. I mean, we were great at them and now we can't seem to take them. It's like I've jinxed them. Every time they come up, I'm like, we're decent on set pieces. They couldn't beat the first man tonight. Couldn't beat the first man. We had a corner with 2-3 minutes left and Jack Harrison hit the first man. So frustrating, especially when you see him coming over doing all these signs and then they can't beat the first man. It's a wasted effort. Absolute wasted effort. Just a frustrating night at the office, which was compounded with the fact because our chief exec or whatever his position is talking tripe before the game. And then, sod's law, Rodrigo gets injured. Let's hope he's not out long. And Bamford makes the weekend. But we need a striker, and we've got now 48 hours. 48 hours, is it? 24, 48 hours. I don't know. Thursday, the window shuts. We've got to get a striker. Cody Gakpo's available for around about 25 million by all accounts. Yes, he plays left wing, but he can play centre forward as well. Hwang Hee-chan's available. Shea Adams was available. We waited, and now he's barnstorming it at Southampton, so that's not going to happen. But the strikers out there, Neil Maupay is one of them who was at Everton. Listen, Everton spoiled tonight. Everton got their point. That's all that matters. Get points away from home, wins at home. They're decent at home. They'll be happy. Of course, they'd have preferred the win. Apart from the Anana chance and the Gordon goal, they didn't really have much, but nor did we really. The Rodrigo one, the Sinisterra goal, maybe the Joffrey, Harrison if he gets better connection. But yeah, it's just one of them. It was minging, weren't it? It weren't a good watch for me anyway. I felt it just kept breaking down all the time. Hopefully it's a better game at the weekend against Brentford. But I think this is the kind of season we'll have. We're going to be fine. We've got decent points turn, 8 points after 5 games. This is how it'll be. And we just have to get used to it for this season. And then, look, it could be better if the club went out and did some more biz. They started so well. They've now got no money, apparently, by all accounts. Yeah, the squad's threadbare. I don't care what anyone says. We've still not got a recognised left back. Alfie McCalmont, who's a DM, he's playing at left back for the 21s because we don't have anyone. It's a madness, man. It's negligent. And then, like I say, my man Patrick Bamford came on and was great. Unreal. Props to him in that short space of time. But it shows you just what he can give. You know, when people say, oh, we need a 10, or that isn't why we lost at the weekend, all this stuff. Just look at that short cameo. Look what he did. Look what he was able to do. Bring it down. Oh, he's just great with the ball at his feet. It's just great. He looks gangly, but he's just so good. But he's just not, he can't be relied upon as much as it pains me. So we need a striker now more than ever, so make it happen. But listen, Leeds have got another point. So another point towards a nice, comfortable season. Hopefully we can get something down at Brentford, which is never a happy hunting ground for us, although recent times it was very, very good. Very, very good, Jack Harrison. Sinisterra, amazing. Rocker for me was the standout as well. But listen, we didn't lose. That's the main thing, right? That's the main thing. I hope you've enjoyed this. Midweek fix will be live at 6 p.m. tonight or tomorrow, depending on where you're watching it. And then I've got a host of watch-alongs on Wednesday evening as well, because all the games kick off at the same time, so I'm going to cover them. Make sure you smash a like on the video. I know it sounds a little bit downbeat, but it's late and there wasn't much in it, was it? You know, same as Brighton, really, apart from this time we got a point. Wasn't really enjoyable. But listen, like the video on the way out, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching it. Thank you. Peace out. Leeds.